back on. Right, welcome, Lockdown Workshop. My name's Mark, I'm your host. Oh, we're getting all professional now, aren't we? Right then, so we've got a bike in. Woohoo, a whole bike, not just a bit of a bike. Just in case you're wondering, the wheel is still up. No goo inside it, but that bulb is getting bigger. So yeah, that's dead Jim. So can't do anything with that yet till they decide whether they want to stick a new tyre on it or want to switch to tubes again, which I've said I'll chuck some tyres and tubes in it. Well, I'll chuck a tyre on it, I'll need to buy some tubes because it needs next anyway, waffling. Right, we've got this specimen in. I've had a quick look over it. I kind of know what's wrong with it, but we'll go through the process. We'll do an M check, but we'll do an up. I have checked the headset bearing. It's a little bit crunchy, could do with greasing. The whole bike wants a service. I don't think it's ever been serviced. Spin on camera. This is where I find out it's not in here. I've left it down there. No, it's here. Right. So there's problems with the gears with this one. Wheel bearings are good. Cup and cone, they're actually running quite smooth. I've checked that. Brakes are working. The brake pads are a little bit low, so the brake pads need doing. So brake pads, number one, brake pads ordered over there already. So I've done a bit of prep on this, so I'm not taking you through the full story. Chain wise, yeah, it's past the limit. There's quite a bit of play. I'm not sure it's that long gone, so we should be okay with this one. The bike's quite mucky and quite rusty. I think it's been used quite heavily for training. Gearing wise, do you know what? It's a 9-speed Sora. Do you know what? Apart from it's a little bit lumpy going up. So it could probably do with a little bit of tuning there. So what we will do is, let's stick a couple of turns on. It's seen plenty of oil. Right, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. It's a Sora, they're never the best changes. So we'll do all that lot again, because I didn't have the focus in the right place. I thought you were on wide, but you're not. Right, so quick recap again. I've just quickly trimmed the gears slightly. They are working now. They were slightly out, but only one notch. But they're working now. They're nice and crisp, as well as crisp as a Sora gets. Right, so the problem. This is the problem. Right, this is the gear we're watching now. Nothing. Right, so if I bring her over here, I can show you something else that tells me exactly where the problem is. So normally you'd have to have a hunt round, but wait till you see this. Right, so watch that cable there. That's nice and taut. We're up. That's normal. That's what you'd expect to see. Right, I've dropped it a gear. That derailleur's not moved. Dropped it again. The problem is there. So that derailleur there is not moving. So we need to work out why. Right. Time for some lube. Right. It looks fairly rusty in there and corroded. I've never had one of these seize up. Now the only place they can really susceptible to it is where you've got a lot of the alley parts, because the rest of it are fairly straightforward, simple steel pivots like those there. But there's a big chunk there with alley, where the alley is an alley piece of metal going into another alley piece of metal. So I think that's where the problem's going to be. What we will try and do is, normally when it's low it's easy, but I think this is because it's frozen up top. It's going to be slightly harder to shift. Now what I can do is I can try and put a bit of pressure on that. Let's see if I can find something that's suitable. The hardest bit is going to be getting it in. We might have to take the wheel off, because what I want to do is get something in there and try and manipulate that out, and I think I'm going to need the wheel off for that. So let's get the wheel off. Alright, you're back with us. We might even have to take the cable out as well. Let's see if we get lucky. Right. Oh god, that's right. So it has moved. So that's a start. I'm not sure I can lever it back up though. Let's see. Right, that's down as far as it's going to go. Let me stick the gadget on, because this might help us here, I think. Not that it doesn't always help us. So this is it's just a chain spinner. I think if you've watched the channel before, you've seen it. It's just one of those shitty little eBay gadgets. It just allows you to run the chain without a back wheel on. So let's see if we can get this to move. What are you looking at? Are we get any closer than that? No, I think that's about it. Right, so we'll not mess about with the derailleur. Oh, actually we will. Now that's pretty stuck, that is. Nope, that's not having it. You're still looking at that. Have I just belted you? I think I've just belted you. Right. So we now need to get it going the other way. See if we can put some leverage behind it. Nope, not there, we can't. Right, so we've got a bit of movement. It's gone up and it's gone down. The problem is it's not easy to get it to go back up again. I'll be very careful when I'm bracing against here, so I'm not bracing against anything that's going to bend. And if I can get it moving, what I can do is I can chuck it in the ultrasonic and see if we can get it to loosen up. That does feel like it's starting to loosen up a bit more now. So eventually it's good if I keep hitting that cage and not the frame. Put my hand there. Catch it. Right, that does feel like it's starting to move a little bit now. It should be on a spring, but it's not springing back on its own. I did look at buying one of these, but they're not cheap for what they are. Unfortunately, I haven't got any spares either. Right, so I'm going to keep working that backwards and forwards and see if we can get it loosened up. Right, we're starting to get a bit more movement now, but I think to try and aid the process a bit, we'll get the chain out of the way. The chain's coming off anyway, so we might as well just brake it. I don't know if it's got it's a 9-speed, so it probably hasn't got a slip link on it unless it's an SRAM chain. Oh no, it has. Don't think that's even the right split link for that chain, to be honest. No, I don't think that's the right link. I don't know why that's been put on that. That doesn't look like a, that looks like a BMX. Right, never chuck your chain away because we need it to work out the length. So I'm just going to go and hang that over the vise, keep it off the floor, because it's covered in, cut my fingers now in shit. Get some more lube. Let's see what we can do. I've got to see what I've got now is I've got a bit more movement, but it's still not going back on its own, which is a tad frustrating. Yeah, that's not gonna. Oh, got a bit of me. We can actually move it with the. We can actually move it with that now, which we couldn't before. Right. Right. It's still not springing on its own. I think the best thing we can do is probably strip this off, get it in the ultrasonic and see if we can clean it a bit, and then work it a bit more. Might need to put a bit of warmth on it, get it going again. So let's get that off. So we might as well get this off as well. Let's, as I said, what we're going to do with this one is it's had such a long time since it's had a service, and given the state of that, I'm quite concerned about a couple of bits and bobs. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to strip the whole thing out. I'm going to grease everything I can. I may or may not touch the bottom bracket. With those square taper ones, you're better off leaving them. If there's no problem with it, and that's running lovely, don't mess with them. Unless you can hear it needs some attention, don't touch them, because every time you seat and unseat off one of these square taper cranks, you introduce the likelihood that you're going to get some crank creak in the future, and you want to try and avoid that, really. Let me just... there we go. Easiest way to get them off. I'm going to stick a new one of them on. And if I can get that in, put that back in. Possibly. These are singly the most awkward thing to fit back on a bike if they don't want to go in. That cutting a nice little hole in your finger as you spin it round and hold it in against the spring. It's a spring loaded adjuster, so it's got a little ratchet on the bottom if you've never taken one of these off. They're quite easy to work out because they work as a normal thread, so if you want to make the cable tighter, you wind it out and make it further apart, so you haven't really got to think a great deal. Right, let's get that off. We'll get that ready for the parts washer. That's that one. Right, time to get the front wheel off now. We've checked all the wheel bearings. They run really well. To say I know these are cup and comb because these are Shimano's. And they are Shimano 105s as well, I think. Or are they 500s? No, they're 500s. That doesn't give you much room to get it out of the frame. Right, wheel off. Chance of getting that out of there, do we think? it's gone in. Alright, not going to mess with the brake cables or the brakes. The brakes seem fairly good. We are going to stick some brake pads on there, but I don't think there's no need to do them. They're not as complex as the Shimano ones. Now one thing you need to be careful of with this is I haven't unscrewed it all the way, it's not coming off. Before you do, just knock it through, because you might find it difficult to get this these nuts out. They're a long nut, and the thing is, once it's off, and if that knocks down, you're going to find it very difficult to get back up again. So sometimes it's easier just to knock them out. Knock them out first. Yeah, I suppose you could stick a screw through from the other side or put a bolt in, but that's off and out of the way now. Right, sorry about that. It just stopped recording. Right, I'm just going to drop these forks out now. So the way this works is, I've just saying, but you didn't see it, is this fork here has a tube that goes up through there. There's a sealed ball race in there. There's a sealed ball race in there. Tube carries on up, goes through the stem here, and then there's a cap there that you apply the load that you need for the bearings to allow the bearings to work. So what we're doing now is we're just slackening these off. You'll slacken one off, slacken it off quite a way, and then slacken that one off, and you'll probably find it still doesn't move much. That's good. And then once you've undone this top cap, then I'm amazed that's a 5. I thought it would have been a 4, just to annoy me. Right. You normally keep hold of the forks, because if on some, depending on your headset, that might just disappear straight down. Get that off, just allow that to come down. You can see it's starting to come through now. Try and grab hold of that and keep it all in the same order, so you know when you put it back together. Don't put it in any crap. There's usually a split locking ring, there it is. So that when that bears down and gets pressed down by the top, that pinches that and it pins it in place. And then there's a set of ball races in here that I can't get out, so we'll have to have a look at them in a minute, because we should be able to pop them out. See if we can just knock it out with a gently. Sometimes it doesn't take much just to break the. There you go. So if you remember that Giant that we did, they were rust jacked into the frame. That's come out nicely. So we'll just clean that up in there, and then put them back in. They are starting to show signs, so I think we've caught that one just in time. The bearing itself is okay, but the race is corroded on the outside, and it was going to start sticking into the rim. There's a lot of crap around there as well, so it's good that we've got that off. Same down here as well. This has got to come out. This one should be. They're not usually that bad. Well, actually I say that the Giant, this was the worst bit. This was the worst one. This one. Come on. Let's move the forks. So these can be two constructions. These have got a steel crown with a carbon blade. Sometimes they have a carbon blade and a carbon fork as well, but these have got a steel top. Looks okay. No sign of anything dodgy going on there. Just go see if we can get this out now. If not, we might just need to give it a little bit of a tap with something. Oh, hold on, I think it's just moved. There'll be one bit of crud on one side that's stopping it from coming out. There we go. That one's in a bit better nick. They're usually the same unless you've got a tapered headset, but these look the same. They feel okay, so they just want cleaning up, re-greasing, putting back in again. No point trying to grease inside the bearings unless you pull the rubber seal out, and usually if you pull the rubber seal out, it stops them from sealing. Are we up to temperature yet? It would help if you turn the temperature on, Mark. Right then. As I said, they're okay, the pedals are okay, we've got that off, that just needs cleaning out. All we need to do is just take these off now and have a quick look at these. But I've ordered some new brake pads. These are Yeah, they're pretty much nearly through now. There's about a centimetre. The lad who's biking is Dave. He did say, can you put me some new brake pads on anyway? I'd normally say, let me have a look at them, but he said he definitely wants some new ones on. I had a look at them and they did look unevenly worn. The front ones were slightly better than the back ones. The front ones have probably got a bit more life left in them, could have gone a bit longer. But it's here, we might as well do it. They're relatively cheap. They're not too expensive. And I think we've got almost identical brake pads as well. Because these are slightly funny in that they've got a very small adjuster washer. I think the new ones are slightly better because they've got the hook underneath that allows you to pinch the pads together to get the quick release undone if you need to. It's less important for newer bikes with the turnover, but these are, I think these are 105s or Sora brakes. They are genuine Shimano's. They do look it anyway. Well, they're the unbranded, not quite Sora ones, which actually are Sora. They just don't actually say Sora on them. There's usually a serial number somewhere that gives it away. But we'll give them a quick blast with some cleaner before we pop them back on. Right. Get these off as well now. I will give the frame a really good clean. Yeah, I know I don't clean bikes, but I think we're going to make an exception for this one. Seems we're sticking everything in the thing. I'm kind of in a test run of what I don't do bike services. What I do is the bikes come, and if there's anything wrong, I fix it. If anything I hear needs greasing, it gets greased. I don't just do a rudimentary, you know, you take it to a normal LBS and they'll smear some red grease everywhere and tell you they've done everything. But this is kind of an equivalent. Yeah, you can see those pads, so there's a lot of uneven wear on. So that cable, boom. So in case I cut that bit out when it was staring at the ceiling, rather than listening to me waffling at the other side of the workshop. Just going to swap the cables out. It's I'd had a look at it. It's running okay, but it's very corroded there. Actually, before I go any further, I just want to check the thickness on that. No, it's a Shimano. It must be okay. Right. Pop. There we go. Right, just be careful not to tread on it. So what you're doing is you're feeling for the hole, which there must be in there somewhere, because we pulled it out. You would have thought there would be a cap you could take off or something to get access to this bit, but it appears not. Come on. I can see the hole and I just can't get it in. I wonder if you're supposed to take this bottom piece off. No, that can't be right. Well, that's a bit of a conundrum. Because I don't know where this comes from. Let's feed it back, feed it through there. There's always a voyage of discovery when you do one of these. I can't believe this is the first time I've never ever done a Sora. I can see it, I just can't get it in. Oh, it's all the way down there. Right, how are you supposed to get that in there then? There's got to be another bit that comes off somewhere. if you have to take that out. Nope. Back with us, battery was dead. Right, just going to finish feeding this cable through. Get it all set up so it's ready to go when we get the derailleur back on. All the way up there. And this goes something like that. Right, we need to be careful here because just need to make sure that we get these in the right place. I don't think that bit matters, but we'll. Right. What you want to do is make sure that you don't end up with these tied in a knot. Right, that should be okay now. Put that up. And there. Looks about right. Right, and then that can go wherever it needs to go. Either over there or under there. Right, sorted. Right, let's see how the cooker's going. Right, let's just give this a quick clean up. Just make sure there's nothing untoward. We've got all the crap and the big chunks off the lower race seat. So the races sit on here. Like I said, we'll give this a proper degrease and a clean later. So they look fine. There's nothing going on there yet. Alright, that's fine. Snap you up there out of the way. Bolt races. Alright, so this was the lower race, I think. Like I said, I don't think it matters with these. So we'll just give them a quick clean up. I'm not going to use any degreaser on it because I don't want the degreaser to get beyond the rubber seal. We'll see how they feel once they're cleaned up. If they feel okay, we'll leave them alone. If they feel a bit graunchy, we might see if we can clean them and put some new grease in, but generally, like I said, if it gets to that point, you should be looking at new bearings anyway. I think they're going to be fine, to be honest. No, they're running lovely. See if we can get. I think this was the top one actually. This is the really scabby one. Yeah, that's not so good. But it's just the outside surface. I think the bearing itself's fine. So we just have to make sure we load this up with grease before we pop it back in the frame. It's weird because this, like I said, I think normally I'd expect to see this on the bottom, not on the top. We've got any emery cloth or something just to give this a quick clean up, make it a little bit better. Thought we've got a piece we were using for something else around here. My hat there. I'll be looking for that at some point. But that bearing feels fine as well. There's nothing untoward going on there. It's just dirty. You can see the chrome coating's kind of pitted and crapped up on it. It's not a bad idea to try and clean it down if I can. Like I said, I thought I got some bits of emery for clicking around in here, but bear with me a second. Yeah, I've got some. Just try and get the heaviest of the corrosion off it. they were pretty scabby then. So it's weird, the bearing itself is fine, but it's just the outer casing that's screwed up on it. Oh yeah, they feel fine. Right, so that's that bit done. I think these are all clean and ready to go. Let's see if we can find a better looking specimen than that. Looks pretty scabby. So let's see what we've got in the goodies drawer. Nope, next size up from that, I think. Do you know what, I don't think we'll have any in here. I think it's the no, it's the next bucket size up. That means it's that one. Might be. You know what, we might not have one. That's not too bad. Could be one that's a little bit longer. Have we got one that's a little bit longer? We're just throwing them all over the floor. Let's have a look, see if it fits first. No, that won't fit. That's too short. That's too long. Sorry Dave, it looks like we might be stuck with the scabby one. Thought we might have one in the parts bucket. Most of these are what was left from rebuilding a motorbike a few years ago. Oh, hold on. Oh, there's more. Oh, they're small. We've got a mix of sizes in here. They're longer ones. Yeah, I think we've got our sizes mixed up a bit. We've got a couple of the big ones in with the little one. That's a big one. What is it? Yep. Any more? Ah! Now we're cooking. These are really big ones. Well, that might be alright. Might be a bit long, but not see any more. No, I don't think we have actually, unless there's, that's a little bit better. Well, that's not a million miles away. We'll go with that one. You can have that one, Dave. Always keep your screws. Right, so that's that ready to go back in. How's the heater doing? Right, while we're here then, let's and I think we've got one more thing to chuck in there before we go any further. Right, yep, looks pretty good. Yep, that goes on like that. And we need, just hook that under there. And we need something big. This isn't big, but it'll do. Right, there you go. Yep, that feels great actually. Bearings feel great, that feels great. Nice surprise that. I only ever see them when they're knackered. Right. Chuck that in there. Might stick a bit more degreaser in, if I can find it. There's not rust remover, no, not that one. Aha! It's ultrasonic solution. There you go, give me another dollop of that. So it likes that. Right. Time, 5 minutes. No, we'll give it 15. Right, that's going to play hell up with you now. So, in the meantime then, let's get the chain on. Move back. Right. Brand new 9-speed chain, it's a CNHT53, which is kind of the lower end, Sasora, Tigra kind of thing. I think they're fairly heavy duty actually, these are fairly robust. They're a little bit heavier, but if you want a chain that lasts, these are better than your Ultigras. If you're not that bothered about changing your chain, you know, if you're doing really high mileage every year, then, you know, stick with your Ultigras, but these are pretty much bomb-proof, and you know what, they're not actually that much difference in weight. So the only thing we need to do now is not lose that pin, so we'll put that in your pocket, with all the other gubbins I've got in your pocket. And we just need to measure it now. This is the bit I hate, because we always end up with a chain that's in a knot. Oh yeah, there's one little knot. A little knot. We'll just stick that on there, and we'll fetch the other one. The other chain. Now I used to have a nail I hung up for doing this, and then you could just feed it down, and it made life so much easier. But I haven't, so so you've got to be careful. There's quite a bit of chain stretch on this. You can see it's gaining a couple of millimetres every sort of 12 inches. Right, so it's that one there. That one. You can just hold your horses there a minute. Or just fall off. Right, can't connect that back up now until we get the derailleur on, for obvious reasons, so the best thing I can do is hang that there and hope it doesn't do what the other one's just done and throw itself on the floor and all the muck and crap. Right, while we're waiting, let's get the forks put back in. Right, first thing to do is clean out the race channels and get rid of any of that crap that's built up around there too, to make sure that when the races go back in they sit in nice and smooth and we haven't got any crap in there. That's good. Right, red grease. I'm just going to squirt it over like an absolute madman. I'm going to put a bit on and then work it in to make sure everything's got a nice coating on it. You don't need tons of this. All that happens is you put a lot on, it just squeezes it out and just disappears inside anyway. I'm going to put some onto the races as well, because that will help stick them in place while I'm getting the forks up and in. Now we'll put the scabby one back in the top, because if I put it in the bottom I think it'll get stuck. Again, just make sure we've got a good coating all the way around, covering up all the surfaces. We'll put some more over the top in a minute. I just want to make sure we've got them in nice. Now we might have to knock that one in. So be gentle with this, don't use something that's too big. Actually, I think that was in. Let's now see if it can. Only have a hit on the outside of the race as well. Yeah, I think that's in. So same for the bottom one. Get a bit of grease on it. That's in nice. Same on this. So this grease isn't for lubrication, this grease is to actually stop corrosion and muck getting in and under the joints. Right. We get it up. Right, so there's the bearing cap split pin there. Now you want that so that that piece is at the back, because when you brake it flexes forwards and you don't want to be pushing it into that split. So that split there should really be at the back. Some people say put it at the side, but I don't like that. Just like I've always done them that way around. Somebody I'm sure will tell me that that's wrong. Now sometimes with these you find there's a little rubber O-ring on the inside, and the reason for that is that when you push it over, the O-ring grabs the top of the stem and stops it from sliding through. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work, doesn't actually do it, so you've still got to keep hold of it. Put that up, just a quick check, make sure you've not got any of your cables in the knot at this point. Right. And then hope for the best. Right, so we've got a nice shiny new bolt going in. Hopefully the threads don't bottom out. We have to go and get the shitty bolt back again, which I've left on the desk just in case. Now some of the bikes now have a little rubber plug that sits in this. I'd love to know where you buy them from. So if anybody knows, let me know. I have looked before I did manage to get one, but I got it from Planet X because they use them on their bikes. Right, I'm not going to tighten everything else up on this now because I need to set the forward and backwards play, and I can only do that when the bike's on the ground, so we'll leave that. What we will do though is I'll put a bit of grease on this. In fact, I think white molly slip's better for this one, because that is an alloy in there, it's not the carbon bit, so just so it doesn't weld itself in with the similar metals. So this is copper slip or anti-seize, what they use on brakes. So we're just going to make sure we get this bit right, because if we don't it's all going to go peaks on. Yeah, I think that goes in between. This is where you should take a picture of how this is all set up. Yeah. I don't like the way that's goes there, so I'm going to take an executive decision that goes that way round. I think it's better having that ride on there than ride on there. And now the compressor's kicked in just for good measure. I don't even know why that's kicked in. Yeah, I think that's where it needs to go. If anything, these are too long. These could do with being a bit shorter. But anyway. That was me that yeah. Right, get a bit of degreaser on that. Right, so it's had a bit of a rub down, we've cleaned it all off. We'll give it a proper clean later. I'm now going to go and see what's been going on in the bucket. Ooh, toasty. That's still pretty scabby. Give that a bit longer. Right, start chucking stuff back on now. Start with the rear derailleur. Oops, it's 5.5, that's the 5. Oop, have to stand in front of your ear a bit. That's it, that's in. All we need to do now is just feed that back through there. Oh, you. It's like we might be changing that cable as well. It's eating it as it went through. Oh well, let's get that one off as well then. Yeah, actually to be honest it is corroded as well, we should have changed that one. Yeah. Actually, looking at this it did need changing. You can see all the dust coming off it. Another one, get rid of that. Dig out another Shimano. well on these. We're down to the last 2, 3. One over there as well, don't forget to put them on. Undo, undo. Yeah, something not quite right going on there. There we go. Right, that's in now, I think. Yeah, that's it. The problem we had with the last one. Always make sure your nipple's seated. There's nothing worse than your nipple not being where it's supposed to be. Yeah, these are a little bit on the annoying side. I think that's much better on the inside. I don't like it on the outside. Like I said, I think they're a bit too long. In you go. That's it. Right. You cool down and eat, yes. The best thing to do with this is just get it started. Get it reasonably snug and then twist and lower it and wriggle it into position. Of course, black tape on the black frame was a really good idea there, Mark. Sorry, I'm just standing in your way a minute. I think that'll do it. That wants to be about 5 tiddly Newton meters. Which one's that? That's a 4. That's a 5. I haven't got a Newton meterage to go by, so we're just going to have to guess. Well, that's 5. See how it feels. Don't want to go too hard because we're cramping onto carbon, but having said that though, it will be reinforced behind there. That's it. I won't take that any tighter than that. Right. Just make sure that that's in. Right, let's see if that works. Brilliant. Right, I think we've got success with that one. Let's just clamp that one in. If I can work out where it's supposed to go on these. So we've got all these lights in here. I'm still finding it very difficult to see anything. It goes along the bottom, and that goes there, and that goes there. I am guessing. Because I haven't got the chain on all the way along, we'll just leave that where it is because that looks like it's down way too low. Nowhere near where the chain is. Right. No, that's nowhere near. So the bottom stop was off on that one. Yeah, that bottom stop wants adjusting. So let's have a look. You see if you can see this from there. It's quite hard to tell because that's up, but that's too far that way. It wants to come on, focus. Yeah. So that cog there needs to be further across. So I'm just going to work out which one of these it is. It's that one. So it needs to be sort of, the centre of that tooth needs to be level with the outside of the bottom tooth, or the outside of that tooth, the centre of that tooth. And I think we're roughly there now. So just tighten that back up again. Make sure that everything's where it should be, because that's still slack. Right, get the chain on. Well, the camera shuts off because your batteries are flat again, and I'm running out of batteries. So that's why I like this particular tool, because it's got that nice handy little gadget. If I've not lost the pin. Don't know why that suddenly decided to fly over there. That makes life a bit easier. Right, so this is the... Come on, focus. It's like a split pin. It's not, it's a long pin with a sacrificial end that snaps off, and I can never get them out of the packet when I've got grease all over my fingers. But I don't know. So the first part of it's narrower, so that slides through quite easy and holds it together, and then you get this and you just wang it through with this until it goes click click twice, basically. That's it, the first one's gone through, second one's gone through, and now it's got to go through all the way to the back, and then we'll hit it a lot harder this time now because it's got to go through on two ridges. And you'll know when it goes because it suddenly releases like that, and hopefully we get a nice loose chain. No, we're not, we've got one more ridge to go because it's not flush. Already through the centre part of the chain. Right. Sorry, thing went just as I clicked the last one in. So once you're taking it off, just check you've got movement. If not, you can use that other ridge there to adjust it. We've just got to snap off that piece off the back now. Any pair of pliers will do that. Just reach behind, just give it a sharp, and it comes off. That's it. That's it, that chain's done. Always remember to put that back on your tool so you don't lose it. We're flying now, aren't we? That's it, and over there, back in the toolbox. Right, let's just have a quick check we're all good. Right, what's wrong with that? That's all we've got. It's because it's at such a... Right, so because we're thingy to thingy, let's say it wants to go up half a notch. Right, we're still getting a bit of... Right, let's see how this is going now we've got everything on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 9 speed. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good, good, good. Right, let's get this up into the middle somewhere and let's see if we can get this sorted out. It's still sticking. I am inclined to say that this is I don't even know where it's sticking. It can't be that bit because I can see clear daylight there. So it's not that bit down there. So it's got to be those bits in there. So I think we need to get some fluid up and into there. Into that bit up there. Because it's not that bit and this bit here possibly. Just trying to work it in and work it in and work it in. We're getting there, we're nearly there. Just not quite. It's quite loose as well. That's not good. See if we can do something with that without taking my fingers off in the spokes. Right, let's get some brake pads on, see if this thing still keeps working. One day we'll get a nice simple one that actually everything will just go on really easily and we'll not have any issues with it at all. I've put the brake pads down somewhere and I can't find them now. top of there because I've got a feeling I'm going to be needing that again before we are done. Right, head here. Right, so I want a left and a right. I've got a left and a right. Right, right. First things, let's wang these in and make sure they are fully adjusted in. It's a right and that's a right, so that wants to go on this side. Oops. It's a good start, it fits between the caliper arm and the wheel. We haven't got to do any adjustments. Loosely fit it. All these dirty paw prints, somebody's put all over this nice white frame again. Dirty, dirty boy. Right. Let's have a look, see where they are. Okay. Right, that one's on. Let's look at this one. A bit high. Looks about right. Let's check it grabs the rim. That looks okay. Let's just trim it up a bit now. Deal with that in a minute. Right. Just want centering a bit, but I'm probably going to have to do it again anyway because the wheel's off the ground. That's good. Get 2 pairs of pliers. The locking nut's stuck, so unfortunately the only way to do that is to get a pair of pliers on it. As much as I hate to have to do it, there's going to be some nailage, I'm sure. That's it. It usually doesn't take much, so that's it. Oops. It'd help if we actually put that down first. Right, this one. Well, I saw where the washer went. I didn't see where the nut went. I bet it's disappeared under that cupboard. There we go. Come to daddy. I'll just roll around in a pile of grease on the floor. That would help if the wheel was straight. Oops. No, they're good. All good. Right, let's drop it onto the floor and sort head bolts out. Oops. Too much crap in here. There we go. Right. First thing, we need to check for head knock. So get the wheel somewhere where it's supposed to be. Put your front brake on, rock it backwards and forwards. Nope. All good. Right, usually they say on here how many they are, but it's usually about 7 Newton meters. So we'll just we'll take it up to 6 because it doesn't say. What we need to do is just make sure that everything is in line. Looks in line. I think we've got a winner. Winner chicken dinner. Right, let's just check that derailleur. Let's see if we've got everything all back together right. Oh, too much crap. Don't know if you can see that. Pedal's in the way. Right. So the shafts, I think, are actually the problem here. It's the shafts inside. So it's these here. Just let me take the tension off that. I've got to be careful because there's a spring in there and I really don't want it to fly out. So I've got to be careful how I do this, that I don't. So we left that in. What we'll do is we'll clean that shaft up. That shaft does look pretty minging. So we'll give that a clean up. We'll try and get it back in without disturbing it, and then we'll have a go at knocking the other one out. But I'm not sure you can get the other one out. I think it's a blind hole. So we'll have to see how we go, because it could be that one, but we'll get some grease on that and clean it up and reinstall it. So the best way to do this, if we can get it to flipping well focus. Come on, focus. Come on, I know you want to. Come on, try a bit harder. There we go. Right. Right, it's nice and clean. Right, we'll see if we can get this back inserted. I don't think that's going to be easy. Right, I've managed to get it in. Whether or not that's made any difference whatsoever, we will see. Still feels just as tight, so it's possibly this top one, unfortunately. That top one I can't get out. Right, let's see if we've got anywhere with that. Pulling silly faces again, aren't we? Just like one of these bikes to come in and be easy to repair, but I guess that's why they're in, and then they're not gone to a local bike shop, because a local bike shop wouldn't do all this. A local bike shop would have said just stick a new derailleur on, but new derailleurs are flipping expensive now, and not everybody's got that kind of money. But I am heading towards this needs a new derailleur. Well, I think we're getting there now, aren't we? think it is this top joint that's the problem, to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely that one, because from applying heat it's working straight away. Unfortunately I've got nowhere knocking the pin out of that one. So it does seem to be just check it does actually fit within the thing. Now we're going to go out with it. That's about the cleanest change we've had yet. Look at that. Right, I think that's it. Brakes are done, two new gear cables, brakes, new chain for this one, so I just need to make a note of that so I can recover. But I think we're all right. Worst case scenario is we still have to stick one of them on. You nearly didn't tell me, did you? We haven't got the nipples on yet. Cable ends. I think I need to empty that out at some point. Right. I think it was the right thing to do to stick two new cables on, to be honest. Looking at the state of it, I think we probably would have ended up doing them anyway. And I think they're about what was it, £7 a cable, £6.99, so it's not that dear. Everything else is alright, to be honest. The bike's good. New set of brake pads, got to see how much they were. I don't think they were much, I think they were about £10 or something. Because they're quite expensive as well to get a decent set. That's it. Oops. You were looking at the right bit, start off with, you're not now. Oh, you're upside down, that's why. Couldn't work out why I couldn't work out where you were supposed to be. Right. That's it. It looks nice. So the knots that. Right, let's see if we can find a half decent cloth and give the bike a quick square down, and we'll degrease it and get it on its way. Get all these. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get anywhere with that. I think it's going to have to go and have a bath. Right, I think we'll call that now. Brake pad's done, new chain, new gear cables, and unseized that, which I think we have actually done that. I think that last bit of heat's done the trick with that one. It is going straight down now, and it's going down with a bit of purpose too. So quite happy with that. I think we finally cracked it. Right, job's a good one. We'll see how that one goes when I've edited it, if I edit it. Right, don't forget, like and subscribe. Lockdown Workshop.